Footy is officially back and Jagga Smith might be just as good, if not better than what everyone expected coming in. We had a game affected by lightning that was abandoned. We had a game that was puddled with rain, and we saw the footage of them getting into their team buses. It was an absolute shit show of rain coming in. It felt like footy season was already halfway through the season with that type of stuff that we had, and then we saw the back-to-back premiers in the Brisbane Lions just showcasing that they have still got it. All that and more as we preview some of the games that have already happened in this opening round of the preseason matches before we go into the actual footy season. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast for the first episode of the 2026 footy season. How exciting. I'm recording this on Saturday afternoon, so we're going to do all the games that have happened so far, and then I'll come back and do them all and have another one out for you probably Monday or Tuesday next week. But for now, this one will be out tonight, Saturday night, or even late Saturday evening. And this one will just be recapping the games that have already happened. Now, if you are excited for, as I just pull up some of my notes, you are excited for the footy season to kickstart and you want to stay up to date with all the content, make sure you like and comment on this episode. If you're on YouTube, make sure the likes are really what the algorithm are really liking so much, so please make sure you smash that. And the comments, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on so you notify whenever we upload it as we race towards 500 subscribers. Subscribers keep going up. I just dropped my Supercoach video where I reveal my team, so go and have a look at that after this as well. But if you are an audio listener, as the podcast, that's how it all started for audio. So if you are one of the audios, make sure to hit that follow button on the podcast, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Make sure to leave a like and comment on this episode. Turn the notification bell on so you notify whenever we upload. Share this off to a friend who are itching for the footy season to be back and is excited. Even though it's just practice matches, are as excited as I am. And please, guys, remember to leave a 5-star rating on the show. So you notify, 5-star rating on the show, as that does help push the show out there to newer listeners. But without further ado, let's get straight into the matches that have happened, starting off with Wednesday night. Wednesday night, we had the Cats and the Blues at Icon Park, and it was the Blues really showing after the little footage we saw of them during, sorry guys, what I'm trying to do this year as well, I naturally talk really loud. And when I get excited, that even goes up a notch. So I'm trying to make it so it's not yelling at you all the time. But understand that is just my excitement as well. But after, as I was saying, with the recording that we saw of the Blues train, they come out and showed some good foot skills, really. Winning by 15 points over Geelong. Again, only a preseason match. 13-8, 86 to 11-5, 71. Multiple goal kickers for the Blues. You had Brody Kemp with the 2 and Elijah Hollins with the 2 as well. We'll talk on Elijah Hollins soon. For the Cats, the only multiple goals kicker was Jack Martin with 3 goals. Disposals. Now, this guy looks classy. Jagga Smith might be just as good, if not better, than what we had expected. Everyone was talking about it. All the new draftees, don't even bother. Shut the Rising Star voting down now. Jagga Smith, it's his to be one, and he might have a cut and be an F while we had it. Are we going too early? Possibly. But when he puts in performances like this, and with the class performance that he put in, he looks classy. He's inside. He's outside. He had 37 disposals, a goal, and 5 clearances. And he's neat and classy with the footy. And it's exactly what the Carlton Football Club were missing. Someone who is calm under pressure with ball in hand. That's as what has affected them over the years. It's why they lost Charlie Curnow, pretty much. I know he fell out with Michael Voss, but you can't tell me he wasn't getting sick of the deliveries coming inside 450. Jagga Smith just shows the absolute class that we have. George Hewitt backed up his BNF winning season last year with 30, 8 clearances, 7 tackles, 3 goal assists, and 8 score involvements. Captain Courageous Paddy Cripps had 29 to go along with a goal, 8 clearances, 8 tackles. Sam Walsh looks back after signing a massive 8-year contract. What are you guys' thoughts on the long-term contract? I'm necessarily not a fan of them. I understand it from a club's perspective, you want to lock him away, but if they go down with an injury, You can't control that. If they have a drop in form, they can't control that. And these days, even when you lock in an 8-year contract, there is no saying that they will stay there for time. Now, I think Walsh will stay because he is Victorian based, but I'm more looking at when Melbourne locked in Cozzy Pickett. There is no saying Cozzy Pickett won't want to go back home is he a WA, I believe, WA or South Australia as well. There is no saying he won't want to go back home. That's just what I think of long-term contracts. Let me know what you think in the comments on this episode as well. But Walsh looks back to his best. He looks bigger. He looks stronger. Hopefully he can keep his body right. He had 29, a goal, 5 clearances, 7 inside 50s, 2 goal assists, and 8 score onwards. As for the Cats, Tanner Bruin was back on the park for the Cats after his suspension. Obviously some off-field drama, and found a role a bit at half-back and looked all right at half-back. Had 27. Atkins just continues to be an absolute ball and one of the more underrated players in the competition. Will be one of the first magnets on the board for Chris Scott. He had 27, 17 of them contested, 10 tackles, and 7 clearances. And Holmes also had 25 for the Cats. Talking points out of this game, we mentioned Jagga Smith, how classy he looked. Carlton's goal-kicking mids. Now, I love a midfielder who impacts the scoreboard. So we saw Elijah Holland spend a bit of time at half-back. It was really good to see Elijah Holland's back. 2 goals, 19 disposals, and 9 goals. But he will play a bit of role for the midfield, half-forward, and now adding half-back to his string. We saw Cripps kick a goal. We saw Walsh kick a goal. We saw Jagga Smith kick a goal. So I love goal kickers that impact the scoreboard. I think that's what the best players in the game do, and those players did it there. Concerns the Geelong key forward Shannon Neal, though, as he limped from the ground in the third quarter, holding his knee after a ruck contest with Mark Picknett. Now, is this going to be a common occurrence with the new ruck rules where they run up and it clashed with knees? Now, we know Max Gordon has flagged that with possible PCL injuries. Are we going to see more likely ruckmen going down with injuries? Because if it does, it could show some red flags for the AFL with the new ruck rule being in it. We know these ruck rules are going to have a massive impact on the game already. But if we add injuries on top of ruckmen that are confused, I just don't know what else you could say about that. And it could prove to be the wrong move from the AFL to change these. What we can confirm, though, is the ruckmen that are agile, can play as another type of mid, athletic and have a leap, are going to be dominant in it. So I'm talking your likes of TDK. I'm talking your likes of Luke Jackson. I'm talking the likes of someone who tore it up, we'll speak about later, Tim English. But is injuries to the knee going to be a common occurrence and a problem for the AFL come the regular season? And we go down to the defence of Carlton. Wade Dirksen and Harry Dean looked good in the defence without Jacob Wiedering. Obviously, we know Jacob Wiedering's injury that he suffered, really broken ribs in the Origin game. He's racing to get back for opening round, and at the moment it looks like he will be, but there would still be question marks over it. But Wade Dirksen and Harry Dean down there looked good in his without him being there. Obviously, Lewis Young was down there as well, but Dirksen, both these players are looking for a spot opening round. Wade Dirksen did it, no dramas, 18 disposals, 89% efficiency, 8 marks and 5 intercepts. Well, Harry Dean, I think, always had a spot, but he's just a young player. You always have question marks about it, but he showed some really good signs when leaping for the footy, intercepting marks. Had only the 11 disposals, but took 5 marks and 5 intercepts. Now, another Carlton mid who I'm actually a big fan of just for his toughness, and he was a bull. Cooper Lord, laid 13 tackles along with 18 disposals. So keep an eye on Cooper Lord as we go across the 2026 season. I think he could have some real big impact on some games. Now let's head over to the Thursday rain-impacted game. There's not much to talk about here because of how much the rain impacted it, but it was Sydney and the Giants at Henson Park, and it was the Swans with a 38-point victory, 14-13, 97, defeating the Giants 8-11-59. We saw the multiple goal kickers. We saw the key forwards, McDonald and Curnow and Amati, all kicking 2 goals apiece. As for the Giants, Jake Stringer popped up for 3, and Gruzeski, who's a really exciting key forward prospect for the Giants, also kicked 2 to go along with Jesse Hogan kicking 2. Now, Chad Warner, as we get over to the disposal, Chad Warner came out and said in an interview that Angus Sheldrick has had a really big preseason. Now, we've heard this for a couple of years now, but he's worked on his inside and his outside game because people who are purely inside Bulls are struggling to have as much as an impact coming into the AFL now because of how much outside work has been done and how quick the ball movement is. He said that he's ready to make a massive impact. And could Chad Warner have given us a little glimpse of it as Angus Sheldrick without Errol Goulden, who Errol Goulden, there's a big question mark on him now. They reckon he'll be right, but ankle concern for Errol Goulden as he limped from the ground in the opening quarter and did not play any more game times, and that would be a huge problem for the Swans. We know he was playing a bit more inside time, and Charlie Curnow would have loved to be on the end of an Errol Goulden kick. But even if he's out, it'll only be 1 week, but they'll want him there to kickstart the season. But Angus Sheldrick, 32 disposals and 571 metres gained, stepped up pretty much without the Goulden, would probably allow him to spend a bit more time through the middle. And Chad Warner made us aware of this, and then we saw it. Can he back it up? We are hoping he can. If we can, we could see the emergence of another young Swan mid, which is really exciting. Blakey did his thing off halfback, 26 disposals, 578 metres gained, while Rowbottom did what he does best, 24 disposals, 8 tackles, 3 goal assists, and 7 score involvements. Off the back of his debatable best on ground medal in the Origin game, Ash just kept doing what Lockie Ash does. 26 disposals, 8 intercepts, 7 rebound 50s, and 571 metres gained. And we were also made aware by Adam Kingsley that, especially now with, I think it was even prior to Tom Green going down with the ACL, that Toby Green would be spending a lot more midfield time. And we saw that 26 disposals, 6 clearances, and 8 tackles, to look out for that in the 2026 season. But with the rainy conditions, it was not much really to take from this game, in my opinion, because of how much that impacted. So let's head over to the Thursday night game. Now, Thursday night game has been the pick of the game so far. Two Queensland teams going at it. Obviously, the back-to-back premiers in the Brisbane Lions and the young and up-and-coming Gold Coast Suns, who are vying to dismantle Brisbane Lions and hopefully go all the way to win the flag. We saw this happen at Brighton Homes Arena in Ipswich, a stadium that I'd never heard of, if I'm being honest. But it was the Lions by 25 points, 19-12, 126, defeated 15-11, 101. Logan Morris continues showing us what an exciting prospect he is after a 50-plus goal season last year. He kicked 4. Zach Bailey kicked 2. Now, Zach Bailey, I was going to talk about it a bit later. Zach Bailey had 25 disposals to go along with 11 score runs, but he kicked 2 goals, 3. And this is becoming an interesting discerning topic for Zach Bailey because he's such a damaging player, but we saw it in the grand final. He basically kicked himself out of winning a Norm Smith medal. It's becoming a reoccurring factor that he just can't finish in front of goal. And if he is to finish in front of goal, as he's coming out of contract now, he could be one of the more exciting, damaging players in the competition. He's having 5 shots on goal. If he can change that 2 goals 3 to 3 goals 2, 4 goals 1, he's the most damaging. He could become the most damaging player on the Brisbane Lions list. Like, I don't think that's too far of a stretch because he uses the ball well around the ground, but it's just that final finish and gets his hand on plenty of the balls. By all means, he's kicking goals, but he could be kicking plenty of more. So I think Zach Bailey has the potential to become the most damaging player on the Brisbane list, centre forward of the ball, and then who knows how much clubs are willing to offer to him will be a massive story going onto it. It's good to see Charlie Cameron looking at better after a bit of a down year in 2025. Got his hands on the footy as well with 18 disposals and 9 marks to kick the 2 goals. Levi Ashcroft, Kai Lohman. Good to see Lincoln McCarthy back out there after a lot of injury problems. It's been a thing throughout his career. They were starting to string together some footy for a couple of seasons in a row, but then again, some injuries. So McCarthy and Ty Gallup all kicked 2 apiece. If we go over to the Gold Coast Suns, my look out for the Gold Coast Suns showed his opening round selection gave it no, did no damage to what I think he'll be there. I'm getting lost in my words and I do apologise. But I think this guy will be there opening round because of the little X factor that he brings. As Leo Lombard kicked the 3, Long kicked 2. We saw a bit of Hugo Hagen, but he had another almost night where he could have really impacted. He kicked 2. Walter had a really good start to the game and kicked 2, but will sit out of opening round after stupidly choosing to bump on young Zane Kolsteski. I hope I said your name right. He'll get a one-match suspension for a high bump. Did everything right leading up to it. He slowed down, and then all he had to do was either go for the smother or just pull out. But instead, slowed down. So he slowed down, did everything that the AFL are asking him to do, but then elected to bump and copped him high. So that one-match suspension, I have absolutely no, I have no sympathy for Jed Walter because he did everything right leading up to it and then just said, fuck it, and then went up and bumped him. I have no sympathy for players that do that when you know the outcome that is going to happen. Just absolutely silly. His spot was already coming into question with the likes of Hugo Hagen, and then you go ahead and do this. It's just stupid. As we move down here, Walter 2 and Took Miller also kicked 2. Lachie Neale, say what you want about Lachie Neale. He's a 2-time Brownlow medalist. We know what's happening off field, but he's a 2-time Brownlow medalist, a superstar of the game, and he has no time of slowing down. 31 disposals, 18 clearances, and 18 contested disposals. 18 clearances would be huge. Would probably be a record. I'd have to check that, but did have 10 clearances, so double-figure clearances there. Darcy Wilmot had my look out for in the season previews. So you haven't go ahead and watch my Brisbane Lions and Gold Coast Suns season previews, as both my look out fors have really shined in this game. 27 disposals, 89% efficiency, 20 of them kicks and 8 marks. Zach Bailey we mentioned as well. As for the Suns, we saw the first look at Christian Petrarca. He just did what Petrarca did. Didn't impact the scoreboard as much, but was in and under getting those clearances. 24 disposals, 18 contested, and 9 clearances. Anderson picked up I personally think he had a better season than Matt Raup. Now, it's just my opinion, 2025, but he's becoming one of the better leaders in the competition. 22 disposals, 1 goal, 9 inside 50s, 7 score volumes, and 618 metres game. And Closey showed Dave his spot, no damage either. I think he'll be there now on that wing come opening round, 22 at 86% efficiency. But the Lions aren't slowing down anytime soon. They're coming hard for this three-peat, and they look damaging by all means. It hasn't started yet, but that was a great start. Now, one that is a real... I don't like to criticise this player and this person because he has been a member on this podcast. But here at Up the Guts, we tackle all issues straight up the middle, or, as we say in the title, up the guts. Mac, just settle down. Mac Andrew, obviously, I think it was episode 2 on here, was kind enough to join us on the Up the Guts podcast, gave us a really good insight, and has plenty of talent. Signed the massive long-term contract, but just has this white line fever that gets in the way of him, has meltdowns, and then costs his team. Gave away multiple free kicks, multiple 50-metre penalties. And he just needs to settle down. I don't know what it is. Does he need to talk with someone? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what goes on. We don't want to take the white line fever out of Mac Andrews' game. But what we do want to take out is the meltdowns that are costing the Gold Coast Suns, because that would be really frustrating Damien Hardwick and the whole of the Gold Coast Suns. I'm sure it's frustrating Mac too, because he wouldn't be like this off the field. But on the field, another beast comes in. He just needs to find a way to settle his emotions. I'd love to see, even with the new ruck rules, chuck back in the middle for a bit. Chuck him in the ruck. Have a look at him. We've seen him go forward. Even if he's down there, you can't have someone like that impacting the scoreboard. Why aren't we chucking him on a wing? Chuck him somewhere. Like I would say the ruck would be the way to go, maybe in the wing up forward. But if we see him having a meltdown and he just, until he can control his emotions, I think you got to quickly take him out of the back line when you have someone like a Sam Collins and a Charlie Ballard there already settled. But there's questions over Mac Andrew. He needs to settle these emotions, and Damien Hardwick, I think, needs to come with a plan B where we can solve him, because he's too good of a player not to have on that team, but he's becoming a threat if he's giving away 50-metre penalties deep in the defensive 50. Now we head over to Friday between Melbourne and Richmond at Mars Stadium in Ballarat. And unfortunately, the weather, like the Sydney game, just wasn't in their favour, as they evacuated the game early on in the game for lightning, and then they went off again in the third quarter, and the match was abandoned after the third quarter. So the disposals, I'm gathering, is from the third quarter onwards, which is why the disposals will be a little bit lower. But Melbourne looked decent. Winning by 35 points, 12-6, 78, defeating the Tigers 6-7-43. Van Rooyen, it was good to see Van Rooyen shining, kicking 3 goals. Has a lot of talent, but just been struggled a lot the last 2 years, but definitely has a lot of talent. The multiple goal kicker for the Tigers was Tom Lynch with 2. After a state of origin where he looked out of place, didn't use the ball to his standard, and was poor. Let's not beat around the bush. It was good to see Trent Rivers come back with 17 disposals at 88% efficiency, 3 goal assists, and 8 score involvement. Windsor was really good too. Caleb Windsor has been known to play wing, and then later in the year last year played a bit of half-back, but was actually playing some centre bounce midfield time. He had 15 disposals of the 3 quarters at 80% efficiency, kicked a goal, and then had some impact forward of centre. 2 goal assists and 9 score involvements. And new recruit CJ, I think is going to be a really good one for the Ds. Does make some mistakes with the ball, but he's dashing off the defence is exactly what they need. He had 15 at 80% efficiency and 5 intercepts. Someone who, in the 3 quarters, wasn't short of getting his hands on the footy, pardon the pun, is Jaden Short. 20 at 95% efficiency, 8 marks and 5 rebound 50s. Taranto had 19, and young up-and-coming midfielder Kane McAuliffe had 17 to go along with 7 marks. Now, I have no real notes for this game because we didn't get to see the full picture and it was interrupted. So we're going to head straight over to Friday night at the Whitten Oval between the Dogs and the Hawks. And it was the Dogs showing a real force they are, winning by 44 points over the up-and-coming, well, not up-and-coming, but one of the more exciting teams in the competition, the Hawks. And as this is the delivery they're going to be giving inside their forward 50, Sam Darcy is going to be licking his licks and could kick an 80-plus goal season this season if that's the delivery he's going to be getting and can keep his body right. 18-19, 117, defeated 11-7, 73 by 44 points. And while we didn't see Sam Darcy, we saw another key forward, father-son, really dominate as well. Jordan Croft looked really good, kicked 3 goals in the first half. Artie Jones looks a lot older now, grown out the hair, grown out the beard, but he was damaging with 3 goals. He's looking to try locking a spot in the team come opening round. I believe, let me just double check that one. Are they playing opening round? Let's have a look. The Bulldogs probably should know this as we're going. And as we're speaking, the Saints and the Bombers game is just about to start. We have a look here. Opening round. Are the Dogs playing? Yes, so the Dogs are playing against Brisbane at Brisbane, so Artie Jones will be battling, and he did no damage to that. 3 goals going with 12 disposals. Aaron Norton, Riley West, Baker, English, and Liberatore all kicked 2. Gunston kicked 3 for the Hawks. Buller, the Wizard Watson, another former guest on the show, also kicked 2 and was a marking presence down there. I believe he took, if we go back over there, I believe he took 8 marks if we have a look here. And for a man his height, that's no small feat. We have a look here. Nick Watson, 7 marks. There you go. From his 13 disposals and 2 goals. So that's really good down there. We can move over to the disposals. Bontempelli. While he kicked 2 behind, 2 goals to go along with this would have completed an unbelievable game. But 29, 6 clearances and 9 score involvements. He just keeps on doing it. Will this man ever slow down? Just give him a Brownlow. Oh, just give him a Brownlow finally for his career. That's the only thing that's missing in his career. And if there's not a player that doesn't deserve it more than Bontempelli, I'm not sure who it is. There's probably someone out there, but Bontempelli is right up there. Matt Kennedy was really good for the Dogs in the midfield as well. I thought since coming across from Carlton last year, he played a really good role playing that midfield half-forward role. He had 28, 8 inside 50s and 568 metres gained. And Riley Sanders looked really good in a new role of half-back with 26 disposals, but unfortunately, he was looking really good, but then he copped a Falcon in the head late in the third quarter and then failed his HIA, which means he misses opening round. Had that spot at half-back, probably locked and loaded alongside Bailey Dowell. Looked really good running and carrying with the ball. But unfortunately, another roadblock for Riley Sanders trying to find his way in that team and solidify a spot. So thoughts go out to Riley because he looked really, really good down there. As we move over to the Hawks and Newcombe was damaging 20 in his new co-captain role, 28 disposals, 8 clearances, 6 tackles, 3 goal assists and 7 scoreboards. Well, Jarman Ippy off that half-back line also had 25. We spoke about the ruck rules later, and one player that I think is going to really, really thrive in this new role is Tim English. Remember when he was drafted, he was a midfielder until the final year of his draft, where he grew about 11 centimetres and pretty much became too tall to not be a ruck. So he has midfield traits. He's shown it throughout his career. He's going to love these new ruck rules. In my opinion, gave Lloyd Meek a bath. He had 28 hit-outs, but here's the thing. He uses the ball like a midfielder and beautifully. 28 hit-outs, 23 disposals at 91% efficiency. And you'd be like, okay, maybe he's just getting the ball and handballing it out to the other midfielders. No, 23 disposals and 17 of them were kicked at 91% efficiency. This is a ruckman. Ruckman should be able to kick like that. But the new age ruckman, this is what they were more getting like. He kicked 2 goals as well to go along with 10 score onwards. We saw him grabbing it out of the ruck and snapping it over his head. We might see a little bit more of that. So look out for Tim English in 2026 under these new ruck rules. Briku Karmas was another one who always has question marks on him. Is he a back? Is he a forward? I've always said he's a defender, and he proved it. He looks sound in defence. 21 disposals at 100% disposal efficiency, 8 marks and 13 intercepts. Looked unbelievable down there. My personal opinion, he is a defender, but he's that third tall defender who can come across and intercept and play a role. So yeah, Briku Karmas, really good game and showing that he's a defender, he's not a forward. So stop fiddling with him, Bevo. Will Jai Newcombe have any problem with the MRO for a dump tackle with Ed Richards? Now, the AFL, this is their chance to set the standard. Whatever happens off this tackle, I'm not saying whether he should be suspended or whether he's not suspended. The AFL set the tone here. Whatever happens here, need to stick with it throughout the whole season. If he doesn't get suspended for this, similar tackles like this can't get suspended during the AFL season. So the AFL, while they don't want the tackle to happen, they're probably licking their lips going, okay, we're going to set the perimeter now. If they want this out of the game, by all means, suspend him. But if you don't, you'll have a lot of cases coming for you later in the season when it happens. So the ball's in your court, AFL, how you want the 2026 season to be played out in regards to the dump and dangerous tackles. So I'm not commenting whether he should be, but that's where the AFL, the ball is in their court. And we mentioned Riley Sanders there. So that's all the games that have happened so far. As I mentioned right now, as it started, we are 3 minutes into the St Kilda and Bombers game, and the Saints have kicked a goal courtesy of Jack Higgins. So those are the games so far. So thank you guys for listening to this episode of the podcast. Plenty more to come as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video. Hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on. Make sure to go have a look at my Supercoach team reveal that I just uploaded as well earlier today. So go ahead and have a look at that. But if you're listening via Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure to leave a like and comment on this episode. Hit that follow button. Turn the notification bell on so you're notified whenever we upload. Share this off to a mate who can't wait for footy season to start, as we've got a little taste tester of it now. And please, guys, remember, most importantly, to leave a 5-star rating on this show, as that does help push the show out there to new listeners. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, I'll see you guys then.